Well, if you don't mind for just a moment, and then we'll open it up to just general questions, or we can spend some time together networking. You know, I've tried to just jot down a few themes as I've listened. And I want to point out, you know, how many of you work for a company? And how many of you own your own company? Do anybody a business? Very good. You know, all of the things that you guys have talked about, as I sat back, I think about, you know, part of me, I've never started my own business. I've always dreamed of it. And I kind of like some of the things you said. Getting off the couch, just taking that first step. I've still got ideas in the back of my head of inventions that I would like to go somewhere with, but it is hard work. But don't be discouraged either. I know one of the things I heard is talking about the consequences or the obstacles. You know, if you only look at the obstacles, well, you probably won't ever get off the couch, so to speak. But weighing, I was a program manager. I managed programs on the order of $100 million and $150 million a year in work, in development, and electronics and things like that. And these programs are big, but they still have the same issues. You need to deal with moving out, taking risks and whatnot, whether you're little, whether you work for an employer or you have your own business, but you got to move out and you got to go step out on those things. And I like, because all of the topics that we talked about, if you're an employee, which is what I was, I didn't start my own business, all of these things that I've heard these guys talk about today are important to you as an employer too. You know, you talked about in your early phases, looking for unique opportunities. You know, be different, stand out, do things that nobody else wants to do, and you will be noticed for that. I mean, as you build up, whether you're at the ground level, just an entry-level person with a company, or you're starting your business, that's one way to stand out and to grow a base and grow relationships, is to do things others aren't going to do. Big companies don't want to do little jobs. They got lots of overhead and it just doesn't pay. But when you don't have a whole lot of overhead, you can make it work. And yeah, you may not make big profits, but you start. Which leads me to the next theme, long term. If you're either starting with a company at an entry level or starting a business, you can't be thinking just tomorrow. You've got to think long term. And the way the ethics discussion that we had, the story that I shared, the ethics piece of that is incredibly important, because you could work for many, many, many years and being ethical and have one hitch or one time that you step back and do something that you really ought not to have done, or you may not even feel right about, and you can destroy that entire buildup of reputation that you had. Because all it takes is one customer, and nowadays it's even worse, because people can put stuff on the internet if they're dishappy or dissatisfied, or they think that you've cheated them, and make it very difficult. And that applies whether you're in your own business or whether you're an employee. But all of these things make sense to me from both an employment standpoint as well as starting a business. And just bearing in mind that these are common sense, practical types of advice and wisdom that you're hearing. And I hope you get a chance to take some of that to heart and think about that. You know, part of what we want to do at WorldNet here, and I'll give you a 2-minute pitch, and then we'll have another question session and we can wrap up. You know, I'm trying to learn from people as we get here, and I'd like to know your names and be able to get a hold of you. Just what the differences are here in Serbia versus America. I mean, I'm pretty familiar with America and businesses there, and I have lots of people I know that can share with me their concerns. But in Serbia, I've been trying to learn what the challenges are to start up new businesses, to move up in a company, to see what kinds of things. And as we compare those, what I want to do is try to bring people with specific experiences back that can share and do what we're doing here, maybe more specific, maybe a week on negotiations. I know you did a longer term thing. Negotiations is something that anybody in any business probably needs to know and can do well to understand the skills that are involved. But we want to do more of this and this kind of thing here at WorldNet, and my goal is over the next year or so to start building toward that, a curriculum, a program that will offer specific skills and bring in people who can share and do that with you guys. So I would ask you to use word of mouth, let people know if you liked what you've heard tonight. Kind of the first one we've done here in a while, but we will get better at it as we go and hopefully bring skills and information to people in Belgrade that can use it and use it to help better themselves and hopefully to raise Serbia up in terms of economic standpoint. You know, you're growing. You guys are going a long ways. And I know when we had some people here in May, I heard a lot of, well, I want to go to America where there's opportunity. You know, one thing I know you can tell me, 8 out of 10 businesses in America, startups, don't make it. I don't know what the average span is, but it's very, very difficult and it's challenging. And, you know, going to America and trying to start a business, you don't even, you know, you have to get to know the culture. I'm learning how long it takes to learn the culture here in Serbia. You go to America and try to start something up, it's probably a lot more challenging than it would be here where you know those things. You find a unique niche, a unique service or product that you can deal with, you can take it a long ways. And I'll wrap up with the last thing that everybody, common theme through the whole thing was hard work. You know, being successful demands hard work. There's really no other way around it. It takes a desire to achieve and to accomplish and to work for it. You don't generally get there by sitting on the couch and relaxing all the time. So it's a common theme of most successful business people. They will tell you it just takes hard work.